Okay, after doing some more research, I found out this is a GTX 650. It's not even. They couldn't even put 2 gigs on it. That would explain why it was 1 gig and it wasn't the system RAM that I was seeing. It wasn't the motherboard, but the actual 1 gig of RAM. Okay, so all you have to do to install the 650 is you go to System, you go to Device Manager, and we'll test out a game or two. Um, then you go to display adapters, and you want to update. I presume this is if you don't want to flash the BIOS, or if you can't for some reason, like I can't. Like, oh, I was just distracted there. And you do that. Then you do have disk. Then you do browse. And you want to go to the sorry, I just ate, so I'm kind of confused right now. Oh, yeah. So I did some virtual. I don't even know how to mount virtual drives. As you can see, I forgot everything that I knew. It's been 20 years since I, was into copying games. But what you do is you go down here to display, and I guess it's 330. It can be any of these. The display driver, you pick on the first one, so it's the first display driver. And then you select, because this has a bigger list than what Windows gives you. And then you select 650. Anyways, it's that simple. It just installs that. So, and when you buy a $50 video card on eBay, you're probably just buying a $30 video card. The 650 is actually a $30 video card. And it can play every game, so it can play a lot of DirectX 11 games, so it's not that bad. But, you're paying more for it. I actually thought it would be somewhat equivalent to a 7670 with 4 gigs of RAM, because that's $50. A 7670 is $50, so they didn't have to go down that hill. They didn't have to make a big scamming network out of it. They could have given you at least a 2 gigabyte card. And that's retarded, And it's kind of mean. Because people are buying this for their work and stuff, You're just and then they're scamming other people because they're getting scammed. So I didn't even get a 2 gigabyte. We're gonna play some games to show you that it works fine under 650 drivers. You could actually uninstall from scratch, but the BIOS signature will still be there. It'll still say 4 gigs. It'll still say, 970 or whatever. And believe it or not, am I seeing this correctly? It goes for 200. Huh. That's oddly peculiar. Oh, 2 gigabyte versions go for 200. 1 gigabyte versions, I would assume they would go for, what? Oh, what's wrong with that price right there? What? Anyways, now I'm kind of confused. Anyways, they usually go for like 40 bucks or something. So you're basically 30 bucks. But, you know, I almost got I was gonna get a 7670 instead, or a Sapphire. You know, so you can get it easily for 40 bucks, 30 bucks. It's a $30 video card. But that's strange. Like, what's wrong with... What's that made out of? Gold? High-grade titanium? This is apparently $300 for a shitty 1 gigabyte video card. Strange. So we'll go ahead and restart the computer. Yeah. But it's definitely a 650. It's not a 750 or anything. Oh, delete this. My hard drives apparently. I don't have any space. Anyways, while we wait, we entertain some astrology right there. This is mythical islands of Atlantis. Like, this is how the world once looked. Yeah. And then there's a big island right there that's what Plato was talking about. And, you know, it's called Diadia. There's actually a civilization there. And there's like a city right there. Right there. In the center. So everything changed, you know. And you don't remember. No one does. Not even Jesus would be able to remember. But that's Cuba now. Yeah. And that's Venezuela. But this part right here is Cuba and Jamaica. So all that landmass went down to the Bermuda. Britain also like split up and shit. Like this is like Samaria or some shit. And this is the Rama event with Lord Ram. So this is Sri Lanka when Lord Ram fled, and those are islands up under Sri Lanka. So he fled to this island when the world was being demolished by the Nara went extinct, basically. It was pretty bad. And that's that's how the planet looked like. I have to move all my movies. I use this computer to download torrent movies. Yeah. So I'm looking for things to delete because I have 6 gigs of free space. I only have 6 gigs left. And this is a lot more confusing than, like, you know, than, yeah, GTA 5 didn't work. I forget how to mount. I got rid of my CDR drive. I sold it a long time ago. And I sold some RAM because it kept crashing. But apparently the video card fixes all that. It doesn't crash anymore. So, shouldn't have done that. But, while this is copying, I guess we could, there's another movie. Copy that to the F drive. F drive has a lot of space. Like a lot. So I'll be back when this is finished. I do recommend AVG. It works extraordinarily well for Windows XP. An excellent virus scanner with an auto off feature. So you can leave your computer on, it'll turn off. So I'm gonna go ahead and uninstall Vice City because it didn't even work. Wow. This is what 1 gig of RAM does. Look at how slow that clock is. Bam. And control panel. And add, remove. Unfortunately, I did want to play Vice City, but, you know, I don't know how to make, I forgot how to make bootable CDs. Virtual, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to make virtual CD-ROMs bootable CDs. You know, something like that. Like, I don't know how to do that. I do use this for work. Like, I have Windows Office on it, and I needed a video card for it because it was going way too slow. And I couldn't work. Like, I had to it ran pretty good with 2 gigs of RAM, but, you know, at times it would not start. Like, the BIOS wouldn't start, so I took out that 1 extra gig out, then I sold the 1 extra gig. Kind of need that back too. Like, I shouldn't have done that, and I shouldn't have sold the CDRW, and I probably shouldn't have sold the yeah. I shouldn't have sold the RAM, and I shouldn't have sold the CDRW. Because I did not know. I thought that the computer was honestly just defective. I thought the motherboard had some sort of defect, hence I got it for free. As it turns out, the motherboard doesn't like to use graphics processing. The Pentium D does not like to process graphics, as it turns out, and it works just fine now. anyways, no one would be able to know that. Um, hmm. Yeah. So it was most likely all in my head, I guess. But it did, process graphics. Like the games did work, and they work really well with 2 gigs. But like I said, I sold the CDRW. I sold the RAM, and I have a stack of CDRs. So I feel dumb because I could be playing GTA 5 right now. But apparently that this type of motherboard requires a video card, and I did not know that. Anyways, Google Earth has nothing on this program right there. Stellarium is a really good program. You can go anywhere in the past and future and find out, what position the moon was in. Because the moon wobbles back and forth. It like kind of does that. And then it wobbles back and forth every 100 years. So if you can comprehend that, maybe you can comprehend the number 8 and the celestial findings of the Antikythera mechanism. I can't even pronounce it. Antikythera mechanism. Which does exactly that. It defines the number 8 as a degree. Like 888. Something like that. 8.88 or something. As a degree on Earth. I mean, as a rotational degree of the moon. So the moon does rotate. People don't think it does, but it in fact does. So the Rama event was this land right there, and the bridge was right over there. And across from Spain is also the bridge to Atlantis, right there. See the Pillars of Hercules? That's what Plato was talking about. It opened up or something. This is so slow. It takes 19 minutes to copy a movie from one disc to the other. Anyways, we were gonna try uh, Call of Duty and maybe I think Mugen's on here, but we don't have to try Mugen. We could try I do have a bunch of Dreamcast games on here too, but we could try something else like Command and Conquer. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I thought I filmed it earlier, but I don't know. Better do things twice to make sure. Wow. It's just, I don't want to start the game with this copying because it might break. There's very little RAM in this system, so I can't really do lots of processes at once. Old job resumes for jobs I never got. Yeah, for some odd reason. I go to an interview and I never get the job, but whatever. Yeah. I could use a USB cable or something, I just don't know what. That's a good idea. I could hook it up so I can charge my phone. Okay. Anyways, I hope that they come out with graphite, graphene or something, graphite soon, because these lithium batteries are ridiculous. They don't charge. Weird fun fact, you don't need iTunes for iPhones on Windows XP. Other fun fact, if you hack Windows 7, you don't get iTunes or all the updates. Darn. I think we're ready. Yeah, I watched all those movies. I mean, I probably already have the movies, and then I watched them. So let's move on. I guess we'll first go into Command and Conquer, then Call of Duty, then War Thunder. So let's start with Command and Conquer Generals. It shouldn't freeze, like it shouldn't glitch up. But it's a low-end game, so. I used to use Gen X. Yeah, the cheating software. So I used to cheat, and I would know where everyone was in the game. It was really fun. As you know, that's exactly what I was doing until they started coding the game. So then, I wasn't coding the game. It looks like it runs perfectly fine. Huh, that's weird. I made an Atlantis map. We're gonna try that. This must be really old because, like, I knew about Atlantis like 10 years ago. I really studied for that in college. I studied about the occult, the secret doctrine and stuff. That's a great map. Wow, as you can see, I did a great job designing it. Wow, that's bad. Oops. One of these maps have to work. Damn it. Okay, but the game works, so we can move on. Now we'll try Call of Duty, and we'll just, briefly go into it. I believe there might be a version of Punk Buster that I don't have. I used to be able to play it. I don't think I can anymore. I'll wait 5 seconds. Yeah, I probably can't. I just started a new server. I'm so used to my fast computer that this being here really gets to me. Anyways, that wasn't that too bad, compared to what it used to be. Yeah, it does work. There you have it, Call of Duty. Working on a GTX on a Chinese video card that's fake. And might I add, doesn't look bad. It looks very smooth. Wow. Oh, that's what it is. You have to launch the multiplayer menu. Anyways, I'm clicking on it, nothing. It's on the highest settings. Except the video mode can probably be up here. The settings will be available in the next server session. Okay. Oh, so when I quit, it goes. Hold on. Let's see if it can do. This should be 1600 by whatever the high settings, and I'm getting no bad results. Like, these Chinese video cards are actually really good, and they're, you're getting brand new for $50. And usually you'd get used for $50 at GTX uh, 650 or whatever. You can get that used for $50. Actually, we just saw one for $300, so I don't know what crack that company was smoking, but they're even there for $300. And what I'm actually curious about is it better than the Radeon? Because if it's smoother than the Radeon, I will go ahead and put it in my PC, in my good PC. I just don't know. But it's pretty damn smooth. Not bad. So let's go ahead and start War Thunder. I mean, War Thunder is a DirectX 11 game, so we might have some problems. We haven't tried it yet. This is some of my old pics from research of the occult. And I don't know, that's a pretty hard moon landing to fake. That's an actual ship, basically. It's not a rock, as they say it is. I have a better picture of it somewhere. Yeah. There's the god Loki in Gemini. It's the father of something. Whatever. Maybe there's some other pictures in here. You know, Craigslist, eBay. Gotta make money somehow. Pleiadian. Nothing unusual. That's a scooter that I found. I built it into a recharging vehicle. Like, your world doesn't have that yet. Or if they do, they're hiding it. So I invented it, so I have a trademark for that. I could sue anyone who makes it. Let's see here. I know there's something interesting. Not really. I thought I had some pictures in here of myself. That's what I'm looking for. I want to look for them because they're like pictures of me in 2008 when I weighed like, yeah, like 160 or something, 140. Oh, there I am. Yeah, I was really skinny back then. So I got, fatter. But that's me years ago. I worked for Mugen, and that's why you see Fire Factory on here. This computer actually ran really good with 2 gigs of RAM for a while. And then what happened is I had to switch the power supplies. So after I switched the power supplies, and because I liked the power supply on it, the power supply was causing it to boot poorly, so I thought it was a power supply. So I get this new video card, and it stops doing that. So God knows what the hell. Yeah. That's honestly what happened. This computer was running pretty well back a few years ago. It came out in like 2008, so I got it in like 2011 or 2010. And from my Asian friend, you've seen him before, and I had to use a power supply eventually because I got a new computer. And the new computer, like I had like 3 power supplies, so I just used that. And I used an old one for this one. Yep, it's still installing. I guess we'll have to come back. Other than that, it runs great. This is definitely how the GTX 9. This is definitely a GTX 6. 690, 650, whatever. This is definitely a GTX 650. So we found the video card because someone on YouTube was kind enough to tell everyone that, these chips are all 650s. They're just remanufacturing 650s. So it might look like a Sapphire. It might look like a 2 gigabyte RAM, but they were too cheap or something, and they just made the 650. But why, why? That's what I always try to question, like, what's the point of doing that? You can get a 650 for $200 or for $50, Why don't you just manufacture the frickin' 4 gigabyte 970? Because it's a really good card. That's a card that would be like above the PS4. That's a card that you should have basically, but it's freaking $300. But if you're lucky, it's $100. See, there it is. I can't believe it. I bought a $50 video card for $300. Sorry, a $300 video card for $50. I have a $300 video card, and it's only $50. And it's not used. It was brand new. So I guess I'd have to thank China. I wouldn't hate on them actually. I would thank them for that. But I was expecting at least a 7670. I didn't know what I was buying because I was being annoyed by that guy. Like, Tuan has a way of talking to me right when I'm doing something important, and I'll fuck up. So mine is not. Mine has two fans on it, so it looks something like that actually. But it's only a 1 GB. I'm thinking it could be faster than the Radeon, so I'm gonna look for that because I kind of don't like Radeon for the instability issues. Radeons tend to overheat very easily. And I don't even like Asus chips. Like, notice how I like the iPhone better than... You know how I like the Intel Pentium better than I like the Asus AMD? Because you never know if an Asus will crash or not. I also like the iPhones, the iPhone CPUs better than the Samsung CPUs. They're faster, but they're clunkier. Or GPUs. So I have a 6S. So let's look at what the GPU on a 6S is. I actually don't know what it is. Yeah, it's a powervr. It's basically a Dreamcast, believe it or not. Isn't that ironic? powervr. I thought they went extinct or something. The Dreamcast has a powervr. And that's why it's better than the Samsung. I mean, sure, I can't get service for some reason, but it's better. It's smoother than the Samsung, and the programs, like, they're faster when you flick on and off the programs. There you have it, proof. It uses the same graphics card a Dreamcast uses, the powervr. And the Dreamcast was like the best system of all time. It doesn't use NVIDIA. It doesn't use an ATI card like the Samsungs. It uses a powervr card made for video games. So the 6S is like a video game iPhone. Made in 20... You know that 1060 is worse than the 970 in terms of gaming? It's kind of like that. Sometimes the thing that comes out earlier is better. Yep, there it is. A powervr. So they knew their game. So that makes so much sense that they would put a powervr in the iPhone 6S. And it makes sense that the iPhone 6S is better than like the other iPhones. Like, it's more of a gaming iPhone, if you notice. advertising. Like, what? Um, yeah. So now you know. The Dreamcast isn't dead. It's alive and well in the iPhone 6s. I think Jesus' birthday is coming up. No, I'm just kidding. My birthday's around now. It's, it's here for a month, I guess. I'll be damned. My new company logo. I did name it and music and stuff. I did not shop at Etsy.com, but I did list a coin. Like I got a misprint, and I went to a coin collector, and they told me it was worth 10 cents, whatever it was. It was worth a quarter, and then he was like, it won't not even that. Like how is a quarter not worth a quarter? And it had a misprint on it. Like it was manufactured with that little star. Like whatever. I might still have the quarter, but my mom goes through here sometimes, and I don't know. No, I don't. No, I don't. Oh. Let's try it. Lost my concentration. My LEDs. Now, always there. Um, GTX 650 versus Radeon AC 5750. we go. Benchmark. Should I install it in my gaming computer? Here goes. Wow, I beat the Radeon 5750 just by a little bit. Just by a little bit. Not worth it. I don't know if there's a, yeah. It could be a 2 gigabyte 650, so. I'll be damned. It's better in every category, just by like 10 frames. But I like the ATI graphics better. Like I like those sharper graphics. So not worth it. Yeah, and the Radeon has better peak lighting effects, and it has is better overall effects, you know. So I really like the Warframe effects on the Radeon. That can't be true. The Radeon came out. It did not come out in 2014. It came out in 2010. Now let's verify it. I might be wrong. Like Chemical Romance came out in 2006. You know, I get things wrong sometimes. See, I don't know what they're talking about. Because the 5800 came out in 2009. Or 2010. Yeah, it came out in 2009, so I don't know what they're talking about here either. Like, what card are they talking about here? No, not 2014. 2010. Now I don't believe them on the GTX 650. I have to look that up. And it's cloud, like what the hell? I'm gonna stick with my Radeon. I don't think I want. I'll keep this on this computer. Yep, the GTX 2012. Huh. I am correct. It did come out later, so maybe it might be worth it. You know. Um. Hmm. And it is an authentic ATI. You know, you can have a third-party ATI, or you can have the authentic original one. I have the original. That's why it won't fuck up any benchmarks. I mean, this thing's from China, for fuck's sake. I don't know how shitty the 650 it would be. And they're using a 2 gigabyte version there. So this is not a reliable site right now. They're basically lying. Good God, what? Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Why is it better than the 5750? What? Well, apparently it is, so I might. Uh, I heard that Radeon has better effects, so I'm not gonna touch it. But yeah, we have to get a YouTube video up to really make an analysis. Yeah. So War Thunder's not loading anytime soon, and this computer's still much slower than the other one. So I might go over to the other one. But if I were to recommend for Dreamcast fanatics, if I were to recommend an iPhone or, you know, a game phone, it would be the 6S with the powervr. You're essentially just playing a Dreamcast. Like, what if I just don't see the point of doing that, of scamming something that's can virtually be the same price. Yeah, so confusing. This computer's way too slow. It has 1 gig of RAM. It's pissing me off. Sorry, 2 gigs of RAM now. But on a side note, I hooked up my iPhone to an extension cord and it stopped disconnecting. So I'm gonna take this extension cord. Yeah. Is it broken? I stepped on it. Yeah, I'm gonna take this extension cord and use it. I'll be back to film the War Thunder on a 1 gigabyte machine. But that's something new that I learned today is, this iPhone has the same functions as a Dreamcast. It's the same video card manufacturer. I actually thought the powervr, besides for ATI and NVIDIA, I thought powervr was out of the game. But apparently it's in the game. And maybe Dreamcast 2 will come out. I actually thought it was a Radeon. I'm confused, You can't really tell powervr from a Radeon either. From an ATI card, because they both look really sharp. They both look the same. Anyways, I've always had this theory that the ATI cards were much like the powervr technology, and the 3DFX cards were a lot like the Voodoo 3DFX series was a lot like the NVIDIA cards. That's just a theory, like they were brighter or something, or less sharp. Which isn't bad. It might actually look better in some games. So I don't know. So here it says that this is 1058 megahertz, but as you know, I did overclock mine. So let's see what. That's the only big difference is that the clock speed's a little bit higher. There aren't any major differences. Like I said, just because this comes out later doesn't mean it's better. Shader processing and texture mapping is better on the ATI. I would recommend the 5750 because of this. Let's go over to my computer and I'll show you why it's better. Because I can overclock the 5750 very easily. Essentially, the GTX, like I said, I always thought 3DFX and NVIDIA were in the same family. I don't know what PS2 ever was. PS2 is the first. It was like TNT2 graphics. It was really strange. It had a lot of pixels. But I think PS2 was like a form of graphics hardware that was similar to that NVIDIA cards. You know what? I don't. That's a good question. What is a PS2? A graphics synthesizer. That makes sense. So it's actually using its CPU graphics. I heard about that. Like it tried to be different or something, and it was much worse. Like if you put a PS2 on HD, it's gonna look like hell on earth. Um. Hmm. So it's just a CPU. Anyways, that's interesting. No wonder the graphics on PS2 actually do suck. So what is my clock at? It's at 1300 megahertz right now. So that's core speed. What's default? Default 700. Huh. It's a lot higher than 1058 right now. It's at 1300. A lot higher than 1058. So I would definitely stick with Radeon rather than an NVIDIA card from China. Although I was impressed with the GTX 970 specs, and I actually did think for a second that maybe China had a way of making a GTX 970 for a cheap, price or something. And you can get it for $100. Like I've seen it on, awkward websites. So I was tricked. I have to admit, I was tricked. So my GPU's at 780, and theirs is at 1058. Well, that sucks. I guess the ad card over there is better than this one. But not better to change because a lot of the textures aren't there.